Now, a women's rights organization wants to know why the Hawks are embroiled in a domestic dispute. The integrity of the unit came under the spotlight this week after a court found it acted unlawfully in arresting Norma Mngoma, the estranged wife of former cabinet minister Malusi Gigaba. Wise for Africa made arguments as a friend of the court, contending that the former minister abused his power by involving the Hawks. Let's discuss this now with Wise for Africa's director, Brenda Madumise. Thank you very much, Brenda, for joining us on ENCA. Now, why did you find it important to bring in your application as the friend of the court when, Norma could have, she already won the case? So, but why did you find it important that Wise for Africa also comes in on this case?
Let me understand, Masuho. She had not won the case. I mean, it's just a classical case of abuse of power and authority, and we felt compelled as an organization that represents a feminist approach in our work that we should get ourselves involved in this case. One, when we looked at it, we realized that it was a normal criminal matter if the police believed and the individual who laid the charges against Norma believed that Norma had committed an act of crime, right? The police would have done the normal thing that they would have done, laid charges, arrested her. Norma would have applied for bail, would have been granted for bail, would have been granted bail. Simple. In this case, Norma is not arrested by the South African Police Service. Norma is arrested by the Hawks from another province, from Mpumalanga. They are the ones who walk into her home, ask for her gadgets, ask her questions, take her to the Hatfield police stations. They're the ones writing the docket. They're the ones who left with the docket because Norma could not be processed for bail that whole Friday. It was only Saturday afternoon, after we had been there, that Norma could get bail that Saturday evening. So it is abuse of power and authority that a politician can place a call to law enforcement officers and ask them to intervene in a domestic matter.
Brenda, let's talk a little bit more about this abuse of power. I mean, the former minister is definitely not the only man who abused his power. There's many other men in South Africa who've done this. How important was this case to show that, there's a lot of women who suffer because the husbands, the people that they're married to, are in powerful positions?
It's instructive, this judgment, that once you have laws and you pride yourself as a country and when as a minister you swear an oath to the Constitution that you cannot abuse that oath, cannot abuse it. It's sacrosanct. That when you have challenges at your home, you think it will be appropriate for you to place a call to your buddies in the law enforcement agencies to intervene on your behalf. It's a travesty and something that we should not tolerate as a nation, as a country. And that's why we got involved, because it was literally about bullying Norma. We will show you the power that we have. We will exercise our machismo and muscle to show you that I have got the power just to call a law enforcement agent in the Hawks or anywhere to deal with you. And that's the message that we wish to stop, that you've got no right as an elected official to behave in that manner, or any other South African who believes that they have got a connection in the police service, in the Hawks, in the intelligence service, that they can call on them to intervene in their private domestic disputes. That has to stop. We cannot live in a country that does that. Once we do not address it and tackle it head on, we are then going to find ourselves living in a country where laws are broken and impunity thrives.
Now, Brenda, of course, Wise for Africa was vindicated along with Norma Mngoma when that verdict came out. And it sets a precedent, doesn't it? But also, how important is it that more is done? Does Wise for Africa probably want more to be done, probably against the minister or the Hawks itself?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, Maseko, the first thing that's going to happen is that Norma is going to sue the South African Police Service and, I suppose, the Hawks for unlawful arrest, right? Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? Is that we as taxpayers must now pay for that, for the behavior and conduct of the Hawks that believe that they could do so. And for those individuals not understanding the consequences of their actions, right? So we must pay for it. So if she's successful in suing the police for unlawful arrest and in a civil matter, and she claims whatever amount she's going to be claiming from the Hawks, that money does not come out of the pockets of those officials who were given instructions to do so. It comes out of our pockets as taxpayers, right? We also expect the Minister of Police and the President, because we had written to the President, to then call the Minister of Police and ask why are those individuals still in the employ of the Hawks, and ask the difficult questions that we posed in our letter on who gave them the instruction to leave their province, come and arrest Norma without a warrant of arrest. All those questions must still be answered. They should not be in the employ of the Hawks because they're a danger to this society, because they can do it again. If they have done it before, anyone else can call them and they continue to abuse that power. What is important with this case is that it sends a strong message to those charged with the responsibility of administering the laws of this country, whether you are a magistrate, whether you are a prosecutor, or you are a clerk of the court, or you are the police, that you cannot use your power. And even citizens, that I can't go and bribe a police officer. I cannot go and bribe a magistrate or a prosecutor in a magistrate court not to proceed with a case because I know them and they can do me favors. That has to stop.
All right.
Where doctors disappear on a daily basis because someone has got a relationship with a law enforcement officer and doctors disappear, cases don't proceed because there's this bra code, that there's this relationship that trumps everything, and the relationships trumps the law, they trump the Constitution.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Brenda Madumise, the director at Wise for Africa.